We are counting down the 30 most expensive Planeswalkers in Magic. If you saw part 1, we went through numbers 30 through 16. In this video, we are going to go through the 15 most expensive Planeswalkers. So let's get right into it with number 15. At number 15, we have the Wandering Emperor from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, foil-etched showcase version, $180. So in all the recent Magic sets, there's multiple frames and artworks of the different Planeswalkers and legendary creatures or just iconic spells out of the new sets. This particular version of the Wandering Emperor is the most rare and so also the most valuable. You can only get it in collector boxes. I definitely like the showcase art. I think it's way better than the normal art. I'm not always the biggest fan of foil etching just because I think it makes the art look a little darker than normal. But just with the rarity of this, the Wandering Emperor in the showcase artwork has the waifu factor. Kamigawa is one of the most popular sets. It's actually probably my favorite Magic set. And of course, this card is also played heavily in multiple formats. And so that just kind of adds to the iconic factor of that. And I'm sure it won't be long before this card is reaching $200. But as of right now, it's at number 15. So at number 14, we have Liliana, Heretical Healer, San Diego Comic-Con 2015, $185. So if you missed part 1, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Planeswalkers were sets of Planeswalkers that were only sold at San Diego Comic-Con, and they did this between 2013 and 2018. So between those years, there was always 5 or 6 Planeswalkers that were sold just at that event. And so those cards tend to carry a premium just because they're scarce and they're usually pretty unique. If you saw part 1, the Jace from that set was on this list. And so Liliana here is at number 14. And a lot of the positive to it is it's a flip card, which means from a collector perspective, you're kind of getting, 2 cards in one almost. And I like flip cards because they tell a story. Also, these San Diego Comic-Con cards for 2015 had a very dark black on black style. And so they're definitely unique looking. Liliana's, been popular in Commander. So, some collectors have that as an opportunity to show off their collection rather than, just hanging on a wall or having it sitting on a shelf. So that helps a little bit. This Liliana card actually used to be $300 to $400 just a couple of years ago. But with the broader market downturn, it's dropped to $185, but that's still good enough to land at number 14. And at number 13, we have Karn, the Great Creator, Japanese alternate art foil edition, $190. So again, if you missed part 1, the Japanese alternate arts were applied to the Planeswalkers in War the Spark. And these cards only came in the Japanese booster boxes from War the Spark. And those booster boxes had a chance of getting the regular English art style, or they got this anime style alternate art version that was exclusive to the Japanese booster boxes. And then beyond that, of course, getting the foil version is even harder. And so, interestingly, on the first part of this video, we saw that Nicol Bolas from this same set, the Japanese alternate art foil edition, that was in part 1. And he's a mythic, and Karn here is just a rare. So it's very interesting to me that Karn costs more than the mythic Nicol Bolas. And I think that obviously means one of two things. Either there's just a lot of Karn collectors out there because they like the character or something. But also this card is played a lot. I have suspicions that any of this price is due to playability just because there's cheaper versions out there. This card's also, it's in Japanese, it's not in English. So most players out there would want the English version. So I think there's really just a lot of Karn collectors out there. He seems to be a very popular character. This card is very difficult to pull, and it does have some gameplay iconic value too, just because it does get played a lot, and so a lot of people know what this card is, and it's definitely coveted by collectors. At number 12, we have Basri Ket, Planeswalker Championship Series, first place, $200. So this Planeswalker Championship Series, this is something that was unique to Japan, and they had cards that certain promo cards went to first place winners, some went to top 8 winners, and I think some maybe went to just participants. And these were all at events, either held at local game stores or other places that held these tournaments that all fed into this Planeswalker Championship Series. So there's not just one of this card, despite it saying first place. It's first place at all these other smaller events that feed into a larger series. So Basri Ket here first appeared in core set 2021, and this particular card was given out in Japan during the spring of 2021 to the winners. And to me, the value of this card seems to be derived completely based on the scarcity. I don't think we've seen Basri Ket at all since core set 2021, and I've never seen this card played. So I don't think really a lot of people know about this character, or I don't know, maybe there's a lot of fans out there that I'm not aware of, but as far as I can tell, I think it's just the scarcity of this card that drives its price so high. And moving on to number 11, we have Elspeth Sun's Champion, Planeswalker Championship Series, first place at also $200. So just like Basri right before it, this card was exclusive to winners in Japan of different events. This one was given out in the fall of 2020, so right before the Basri Ket one was. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that this one's not even more expensive than the Basri Ket, just because Elspeth is at least a recognizable character. So it's very interesting to me that these are about the same price. But again, kind of like with Basri, I think most of the value is just derived from the fact that there's just not too many of them out there. Now we're getting into the top 10, and starting off, we have Liliana of the Veil, Ultimate Masters Box Topper, $200. So Ultimate Masters was a master set, and so with that, it had a limited print run. But in each booster box of Ultimate Masters, there was a box topper card, and there were 30 or 40. I don't know exactly how many box topper cards it could be, but Liliana of the Veil was one of those. So you would get one of those randomly with each booster box. So with a box with one per booster box, and a limited set, this card is definitely on the more scarce side of things. But really, there's not much to say about Liliana of the Veil. The Steve Argyle artwork is just as iconic as it comes in Magic. Liliana of the Veil was the face of Modern for many years. Maybe she'll become a face of Pioneer eventually. Right now she's not. But for a lot of people, this is one of the most recognizable cards in Magic. Definitely a fun card to play with, one of my personal favorites. And, all the good things about the Innistrad version, this is the only version that has the borderless treatment of the original artwork. So this card is essentially the original Innistrad version, but perfected. So it's really just kind of the best that Liliana of the Veil can be. And at $200, that is number 10. At number 9, we have Nissa, Who Shakes the World, Japanese alternate art foil edition from War of the Spark, $205. So here's yet another one of those alternate art Japanese anime style Planeswalkers from War of the Spark. So just like Karn before it, it's difficult to pull these cards. You have to have the Japanese boosters, you have to get the alternate art, and then you have to get the foil version. So these cards are very coveted by collectors, and this is actually Nissa's first appearance on this entire list. And this is one of the, so this is really the most expensive Nissa Planeswalker card there is. This is actually one of the better looking alternate art walkers in my opinion. This just proves the popularity of the waifu art style that is popular across every card game, and Magic, of course, is no exception. And, of course, this card is also popular on a gameplay side, and so it's got some iconicness there. But at $205, Nissa comes in at number 9. At number 8, we have Ajani, Color of the Pride, San Diego Comic-Con 2013, $225. So here we actually have the first Ajani on the list, and this one in particular is part of that San Diego Comic-Con 2013 group, which is the very first year of those Planeswalkers. And that first set of 5 Planeswalkers in 2013, those are the most valuable ones, just because they were the most scarce. That was the first year that Wizards did that. I don't know if they had plans to do it in following years, and so these ones just carry a higher price tag than the other years. Moving on to number 7, we have Chandra Pyromaster, San Diego Comic-Con 2013, $225. So this is about the same price as the Ajani right before it. They're both part of that 2013 line of Planeswalkers, and so their rarity is equal. It's got that unique dark artwork, and so these are highly coveted by collectors. Moving on to number 6, we have yet another 2013 Comic-Con exclusive, Jace Memory Adept, $300. So this card is actually a $75 boost from Chandra and Ajani. So that just speaks to the popularity of Jace as a character, and he's one of the primary faces of Magic as a game. This card in specific has actually spiked to $600 or more multiple times in recent years. So I actually think $300 could be a short-term bottom, and it'll be interesting to see how high he goes in the future. But at $300 currently, he is number 6. At number 5, we have Liliana, Dreadhorde General, Planeswalker Championship Series, first place, $310. So just like Basri Ket and Elspeth before, this is another card that was exclusive to winners of the tournaments in Japan. This one was given out in spring of 2020. This card is basically, just the same as the War of the Spark version. Not much else to say about this other than that, just the scarcity of these cards is what really is driving their price. And so this is the 5th most valuable card in Magic right now. Coming in at number 4, we have Jace the Mind Sculptor, Worldwake Foil Edition, $340. So what's really unique about this card on this list is that you can just pull it in a normal booster pack. A lot of the other cards we've seen have either been Comic-Con exclusives, or they've been from the Japanese booster boxes for War of the Spark or tournaments in Japan. Wandering Emperor at number 15, she could be pulled in collector boosters specifically. Obviously, those didn't exist back during the Worldwake days. But so this just speaks to how iconic this card is, because it's just a normal card that you get in a normal booster pack, and it's cracked the top 5. And this card has actually been a lot more over the $600 range in recent years. And so, it's dropped a lot recently. It's hard to say if this is just a bottom now, but I would think that this card has a lot of potential of going back up. At number 3, we have Liliana of the Dark Realms, San Diego Comic-Con 2013 at $600. So this is yet another member of the Comic-Con 2013 set. And if you missed part 1, the last one was in part 1. So this accounts for the last of the 2013 series Planeswalkers. And if you remember, the Jace Memory Adept was number 6, and that was only $300. So Liliana here has double the price of the Jace from the same set, so they have the exact same supply out there. But that really just speaks to how popular Liliana is for collectors. So it's really impressive how much of a premium she commands. And just these Comic-Con cards in general, they have really almost dominated this list. At number 2, we have the Wandering Emperor, Planeswalker Championship Series, first place, $610. So this is the second version of the Wandering Emperor that we're seeing on this list. And as I mentioned before a couple times already, these were given out in Japan exclusively. This one was given out in the fall of 2022. So only about 6 months ago, less than 6 months ago. So this is actually the newest card to the list. And I will be curious to see if this price holds. The art on this version I don't think is anywhere near as good as the showcase version from Kamigawa, but of course this one has the much higher scarcity, so I will definitely be curious to see how this one moves in the future. Okay, before we get to number 1, we have a couple of honorable mentions. So first off, I didn't include any of the pre-release Planeswalkers, particularly the Japanese alternate art Planeswalkers from War of the Spark, the pre-release versions. There's several that would have made this list. It would have got a little more repetitive than it already is. So I decided not to include those. And then also, as another honorable mention, we have Vraska Golgari Queen, Planeswalker Championship Series, first place. And this card is a little odd because I cannot find a single record of a sale of this card. There's a lot of empty product pages from different stores. There's no sales on eBay or current listings. Star City Games had a product page that had a price of $1,200, but even Googling for an image of this card, I couldn't find a single image of the card, of a physical version. There's the stock images, of course. But basically, I haven't been able to find any proof that this card even exists. So I have no proof that this has ever sold for any amount, or if it was ever actually given out to anybody. I really just don't know. So I wanted to mention it, but I can't really find proof of its value anywhere or proof that it even exists. So I just want to mention it, and I left it off the list for that reason. Moving on to number 1, we have Liliana Dreadhorde General, Japanese alternate art foil edition from War of the Spark. And the price of this is between $2,500 to $3,000. So this is a massive, massive, almost 5x increase over number 2, the Wandering Emperor. And all things I mentioned before about how hard it is to pull the foil Japanese alternate art Planeswalkers from War of the Spark, all of that applies here. Liliana, of course, is a mythic rare, so she's even harder to pull than Nissa and Karn. It's hard to, I guess, just overstate how popular and iconic this particular art is. So this card, it's got high scarcity, it's got the right character, it's got the right art. This is just the most expensive Planeswalker there is in all of Magic. But anyway, I think this would be an interesting thing to do in another year or two maybe, and see how the prices have moved and see how this list has changed. I'm especially wondering about the Planeswalker Championship Series cards. Several of them made this top list, and most of the art isn't really as good as the originals. Really, their value is entirely derived just because there's just not that many of them out there, but these cards are also very new, so I'm not sure how they'll do in the future, but I'll be interested to kind of keep watching them and see how they move. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hey guys, so after I finished editing this video, I actually found one Planeswalker that I missed that would have made the list, and that's Narset, Parter of Veils, of course from War of the Spark, Japanese alternate art foil edition, because why not? And that goes for about $365 right now, so that would have put it at number 4. So, and that's an uncommon, so that's extremely impressive. But yeah, sorry for missing that one. If I missed any others, let me know down in the comments, but if you call out that card, then I'll know that you didn't watch till the end. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it.